And we are live back on the Derwent. We've just missed the finish of Patrice. Just managed to miss that finish, and here are our hard-working volunteers on the red rib while Patrice gets sorted. Unfortunately, first boat we really wanted to call across the line that we've missed. We obviously missed Law Connect last night, Blackjack Yachting, and Wild Oats 11 whilst we were dealing with Andu Comanche, but we did, of course, interview all of those boats. Patrice, we will try and catch up with them later, but they are across the line as we wait for Quest to approach. And for those who were asking earlier about whether Whisper had issues, I think they're getting a tow in, so that sounds to me like they've either got a motor issue or a rudder issue, as well as the fact that they had a storm sail up. But here is Patrice getting clapped by all of the lookers on in at Constitution Dock. Great sailing from Tony Kirby, TK's team. Brilliant work. Carolyn Brower and Stacey Jackson on board. Matt Lung. Marky Edmonds. Great job by them, and they're backing in now to join the other TP52s that have been finishing in a bit of a bundle together with a Whisper in between. And next up to finish we have Quest, Smuggler and Zen, who are all fairly close. But here is Patrice going into Constitution Dock. Very well done. Woohoo! Very well done indeed. Safe and sound. TK did a marvellous job there. He was a bit nervous, but he did it beautifully. What a good soul. Look at the crowds. Woo-hoo! It's something else. Hello! Hi! So lovely. All right, we might head back out again. They're going in the rock hole. Thread the needle. We're getting out of here before we get in trouble, ladies and gentlemen, and we might head to the finish to see where Quest is at. It looks like a funny display for me. I'm not sure which feed is actually going live. It looks to me like there's a highlights reel live, but we are actually in Constitution Dock. Sounds like Facebook just had a little bit of a crybaby, everybody. We've probably been live too much. That's the problem, I'm guessing. We're leaving Constitution Dock now to head back out to pick up Craig Neal's Quest. They're heading up the Derwent. They're not far away. It's quite sunny now. Like, it's not nearly as windy as it was. The earlier bunch of TP52s have finished. Finishing line is just in front of us now. I might just pan to the left-hand side of the boat here, and you can see Whisper still here, as I mentioned, with a rib standing by. I haven't heard anything official yet about any damage. We might just pop over behind them. I don't want to get in the way of anything, but just to see that they're okay and see if we can hear anything about just what is going down there. We can see Quest in the distance for those who are wondering, but I just want to run through all the boats that have finished so far. Andu Comanche took line on us, then Law Connect, Blackjack, Hamilton Island Wild Oats. Fifth to finish was Willow, undertaking Stefan Racing with a torn J2. Then it was the RP66 Alive, URM Group, Moneypenny, No Limit, Caro, Warrior One, Waylo, then Celestial, now Clubhouse leaders on IRC. Then Whisper, which we were also live for, then Patrice, who we just featured, and Quest is coming up to the finish now. So Whisper's finished, I think, 3 boats ago, and they're still out here. I'm not quite sure exactly what is happening there. The Gretel 2 rib standing by. not so fun. We'll just pan over to the right-hand side. Here's the finish line. Quest in the distance, sailing beautifully. There is somebody in the water at Whisper, so we'll keep our distance. So perhaps they have something around the keel. Looks like Monty's water. And he's diving down. Not so good. Definitely on a tow line here. Dougie McGain in the white shirt. We do have a cord over. I'm not sure if it's an oxygen cord or a power cord. Doesn't bode well either way. Let's see if I can get a verbal. We'll go over to Quest. Don't worry, guys. There's still a little ways from the finish. There's a hammer in his hand. That's never a good sign. Monty with a hammer. What is it? Oh, sounds like something's jammed. Maybe the canning keel's jammed. It's talking about something being jammed, and he's got some sort of load gun in his hand. Coco just having a chat to Dougie McGain and Griffin. Holly up the back. What's going on, babe? Hey, Griff. Never looks good when Monty's got tools in his hand in the water. He's got a tank though, a little oxygen tank. That is a tough one. So for those who are wondering what happened to Whisper, there you have it. Not only looked like a blown jib, or perhaps they were using a smaller jib to not put pressure on the keel. I'm sure we'll find out more about that as time unfolds. Quest is still a little ways away. So while we've got Whisper on the screen, let's do a more positive Whisper story. If we can find the interview with Griff and Holly that I did before the start, we might pop that one up just so we can have a little bit of positivity while it looks like they've got a few issues going on here at the finish. At least they did make it to Hobart. At least everybody looks safe and sound and happy, and they've got water and food on board, which is great to see. It's about 15 knots to 18 knots on the Derwent now. It's really eased as it's starting to book further around into that southern quadrant. And if you have just joined us on the screen, we have Whisper, who have been offshore for some time now following finishing. It appears they have something going on with their keel. Meanwhile, Patrice has just finished. Quest is coming up the Derwent, and behind Quest, Smuggler and Zen really match racing it out. There were 13 TP52s that started this race, and only one has pulled out so far. Koa had a broken rudder. Just going to check to see if there are any further time. Oh, he's actually just got, they're just oxygen tanks that he's got in his hand. It's not actually a tool. My mistake. And so, as I mentioned, just to show a little bit more positivity as these guys are trying to get into the dock, clearly had a few breakages over the course of the race. We're going to go to an interview that I did with Griff, the owner, and his daughter Holly, who's sitting on board there. Her first Hobart is completed regardless of us. Let's roll this interview with Holly and Griff from Whisper. J'adore, exactly. This is Nick Douglas for Adventures with Sailor Girl in front of the beautiful JV62 Whisper with the owner, David Griffith, and his amazing daughter and crewmate, Holly Griffith. Your first Hobart. Are you excited?
I'm very excited, Nick.
It looks like a lovely forecast for you guys with a bit of hot running down the coast. How are you feeling about that, Griff?
Fantastic, Nick. I mean, it's going to be hard. Those TPs will be barking at our heels the whole way because they get it going a bit faster and earlier than us. But we've got a top-notch crew. We're very lucky with the people that we've got, and the boat's in great shape. So it's going to be a very competitive race this year, more than in many years, I think.
Oh, I absolutely agree. The range of boats between 50 to 70 feet, it's incredibly competitive. And for your first, it's going to be challenging in that regard. But, I mean, you're also one female on board a crew totaling of 18. What does that feel like for you?
You know what? It's surprisingly less intimidating than it sounds. I obviously am concerned about bathroom arrangements, but other than that, I have a really good relationship with our crew, and a lot of them I've grown up with and are Dad's good friends. So yeah, it's exciting.
Well, also you've done, most people may not know, you've done the entire season with this boat, and so I think not seeing you on board come Boxing Day would be so weird.
I like to think so too.
Are you proud of her, Griff?
Very good, Nick. And one of the things was I insisted she had to do the Triple SC course, which she did with a whole group of, people doing it, which was great. So that gives you a taste of what it's like to climb into a life raft.
Yes, but are you
freezing
proud?
Cold weather.
Are you proud?
I'm very proud, very proud. Very happy to have you on board. And the weather gods have hopefully smiled on us. Yeah. We'll see.
Yeah, we'll see. But I've interviewed you before many races, Griff, and I know that you've put a lot of work in over the past 12 months. Are you really happy with where the team is at? Have you done everything you can to make sure you're in the best stage for Boxing Day?
Oh, absolutely, Nick. North Sales have been fantastic, and all the supplies of the electronics, Troy Kennedy and the carbon work. We've done lots of interesting things to the boat, and so it's in pretty good condition, but without the top-notch crew, you've got nothing. So we've got the best of the best, so we're in good shape.
I think they'd say that you're one of the best owners too, and you've got a pretty awesome crewmate here next to you. So we're going to let these two go because they've been a hot topic this morning with the mainstream media as well, which is very deserved. But we'll definitely catch up with them again come Boxing Day, and if not in Hobart. So good luck to you guys.
Thanks, Nick.
Thanks, Nick. Welcome. Thanks for all your help.
You're very welcome. Right, get out of here.
Thank you.
You're going to be great. It'll be awesome.
Oh, God. I'll see you on Boxing Day.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Derwent. On your screen is Quest. Craig Neal's Quest. It's been an absolute champion of a boat in this race under the name and balance. And it is heading into the finish. We just saw an interview with Griff and Holly whilst we left them in safe hands. Looks like they've got a bit of an issue with their keel ram. But we will bring Craig Neal home. And then there's a bit of a chat back to Smuggler and Zen. But I'm going to try and stay live for them to bring them in for you. And then we're going to go and do a whole bunch of editing for interviews and highlights reels for you. Marine's actually already in and she's starting on that whilst I do this solo. Wendell's editing photos as well. So there's plenty more content from this morning to come your way, adventurers. Beautiful driving from Steve Shield. It's pretty good to have Shieldsy and me on a boat together. More chance to chat, Shieldsy. Hobart Daddy's a legend. Poor bugger was just sitting down to have lunch and I was like, I think we should go out and try and get Patrice. And then we unfortunately missed Patrice because I was trying to get interviews with Warrior One, which I just spoke to Clarkie again. And I also spoke to Sam Haynes from Celestial. So I have those interviews coming your way very soon. I will edit them in order, so I've got the mini maxis all the way through to the TV52 to do. Looks like Quest is going to tack here. They're just getting ready for attack now. It has lightened off considerably, though it's still quite breezy, as you can see. Whisper, as I mentioned, just in the distance there. They're in good hands. They're on the toe. Oh, maybe they weren't going for attack, but they're very down here. Big puff on the shore here. Yeah. With a reef, every TP that's come in has had a reef in. Big puff on the left here. It is starting to go south. And this is what Celestial is hoping for on the dock, that Hootsbar can't catch up. Backstay's round your top button, guys. Backstay, backstay, backstay. There we go. Woo! Oh, looks beautiful. It is a beautiful boat, folks, I have to say. Not far from the finish line, about half a nautical mile, if that. It may not quite lay. Looks like Mr. Brewer on the punts there. Craig Neal on the helm. And in we come to the finish. Woo! Big puff. And a bit of left in it. Oh, and then there's a header. You can see that massive mountain in the background. Mount Wellington is wreaking havoc. When the left puffs come through, they are very short and sharp. Trying to clear that backstay. Here they go. Potentially their last tack. Oh, it lifted as they were tacking. Never a good sign. Ooh. They'll have one more tack. Spinning around the shift here. Now when I say spinning around the shift, effectively the pressure is flicking and flicking and flicking, and they end up sailing in what seems to be a circle. They don't actually move forward too much. For the attuned sailor, sometimes with these helicopter puffs, you just can't pick it. Basically, it means you just have to hope for the best. Looks like Greenie's up on the rail there. You just have to hope for the best. Hope that you pick it at the right time. I think they'll go all the way to a definite ley line here. Oh, except that's a massive header. It's just so hard. Sometimes you can't take it. Woo! And there's a big squirt there, says Shieldsy, and he's not wrong. Here they go. They're tacking. They're hoping this is their final hurrah. Craig Neal and his team on board Quest coming into the finish. Excellent. They will lay. And what a beautiful boat and a great skipper to boot. Craig Neal cross line. The 2022 edition of the Rolex Sydney Hobart. This is Craig Neal's 5th Rolex Sydney Hobart. He's done it on his former yacht, Eleanor Nova. And of course this one, the Sailing Masters Greenie, Mike Green, this is his 43rd Hobart. He's up behind Craig Neal there. Absolute legend. Done an interview with him on this boat. He's on his neck. James Walker was the navigator. This is his 3rd. Eric Alston, Tom Brewer, as I mentioned, Ryan Brook, Adam Brown, who was flicking that backstay. This was his 35th. Davin Conagrave, Timothy Dawson, Ben DaCosta, Clinton Evans, or Billy, Peter Jenkins, Don McPhee, and Rick Blaine are on board. Beautiful sailing here from Quest. I'm just going to check the tracker at RolexSydneyHobart.com and see where the next lot of boats are. So we now have 17 boats finished. The 18th boat, Smuggler, is 10 nautical miles away. So we'll stay with Quest here for a little bit. I hope you're enjoying watching this action out on the Derwent. from the Royal Yacht Club of Tasmania support boat. We're thankful to them for helping us out to do our coverage once again. We're powered by Musto, though I think my media team are not powered by anything right now. They need a nap. But thank you, Musto. We love you. Trying to hit the distance. I cannot as yet, unfortunately. So we will stick here with Quest. And perhaps we may end this live feed and go to an additional live feed with Zen and Smuggler. I'm just checking the track and it does seem like it's about 10 knots to Smuggler, though there is a lag. I can't see them. But it is 10 knots and 12 nautical miles and 12 to Zen, which is actually quite a massive gap. So I'm going to call it here, ladies and gentlemen. We're actually going to stop this feed here, but it was lovely to see Patrice and it was lovely to see Quest finishing and check in on Whisper. We will be back with you probably in about 20 minutes time with the finishes of Smuggler and Zen, and then we're going to have a little break while we go in and finish editing all of the B-roll that we have. The next boat after Smuggler and Zen at the moment is Antipodes and Crush. So we'll be keeping an eye out for them, definitely to get some interviews on the dock in the least. But we have too many photos and videos to edit, ladies and gentlemen, so I'm going to leave you here with beautiful vision of Quest, a boat that is very synonymous with this race. And we'll see you soon from the Derwent in Hobart for the Rolex Sydney Hobart 2022 Adventures of a Sailor Girl coverage.